everyone, welcome back. My name is Morgan. This is my channel, Pisces Paperbacks, and today I'm going to be doing a little bit of a book haul. I bought a lot of books in December. Some of them were gifts. Mostly I just spent my own money, but I think I did something on my Instagram stories, but nobody watches that, so I wanted to film a video to talk about all the fun books I got recently, including a couple ebooks that I got. Let's get started. These are not really in any order, except for I'm going to be doing all my mass market paperbacks first and then everything else, so let's go. Here I have 6 mass market romances. I found a secondhand bookstore like 15 minutes away from my house last month, and it's literally like the general fiction section's like fine, but they have literally half the store is romances, to the point where they have them separated: historical romance, paranormal romance, romantic suspense, contemporary romance. Like there's so many that they have like specific sections. So I went a little ham. So first I got the first 2 books in the Gathering of Dragons romance series by Milla Vane. I have not read anything by this author, but I've been kind of getting into like fantasy romance lately, and I feel like these I've heard good things about them. So A Heart of Blood and Ashes is the first one, and it seems to be about a man named Matic, and he's a barbarian warrior. Love a barbarian romance, and I've only read a couple, but they're pretty fun. And he wants to get revenge on the king who killed his parents, but like he's like, actually it was their daughter, the king's daughter, who lured his parents to their death. But then she like proposes that they have a marriage of convenience situation. I love a marriage of convenience plot, so I'm excited for this. I also think it's like, look how much bigger the first one is than the second one. That's so funny. And then the second one is called A Touch of Stone and Snow. This one is about a warrior woman named Lizen, and she, I guess, was branded a coward and a deserter and kind of shunned and banished. So she becomes a mercenary before coming back into contact with a group of warriors that includes the prince, who was the one who exiled her in the first place, and then it's like their romance. So excited about these, very excited about these. And then the rest of the ones I have are tried and true authors for me. So first I have To Taste Temptation by Elizabeth Hoyt, and this is the first book in the Legend of the Four Soldiers like little companion series. It's 4 books. I have the other 3 over there, and the second book in the series, To Taste Temptation, or no, To Seduce a Sinner, I read in my most recent reading vlog. It's one of my favorite romances that I have, so I just like having all 4 of them. I think I've read this before. I think I've read all 4 of them before, but I really only remember the second and third ones because those are my favorite too. So I'll probably read this again because it's effectively unread. I haven't read it before, so yeah, that's that. And then the rest are from the same author under 2 different pen names. So I have 2 books by Jayne and Krentz. First we have Fired Up, which is the first book in the Dreamlight trilogy, but also an Arcane Society novels. So if I talked about this in another video, I don't remember which one, but this author under multiple names, because this is also an Arcane Society novel, but it's under a different pen name. The Arcane Society novels are books where people have psychic talents, and there's this thing called the Arcane Society that was founded in the Victorian era in her like historical romances. That's basically a society for people to connect with other people with psychic talents and like register their psychic talent and like categorize it in some ways. It's fun. It's a fun time. It's like my favorite type of like, it's contemporary but like little sprinkle of magic there, so that's fun. And so I have Fired Up, and I've read this one before. Just kidding, I have not read this one before, but I've definitely read the other 2 books in the Dreamlight trilogy, I think. It's very confusing, but this is basically about a man named Jack Winters, who is the descendant of one of the founders of the Arcane Society, and he's starting to experience like nightmares and blackouts, which is like the beginning of the Winters family curse. And he needs the help of a woman who can read this burning lamp. Then there's this private investigator, Chloe Harper. Everything I'm saying is turning into nonsense, so I'm just going to put that book down. But the other one by Jayne and Krentz that I have right here is called Crystal Flame, and this one I have not read before and I have not even heard of, so let's see. Oh my god, this looks really stupid. Oh, this is the second book in a trilogy. I don't know if the first book is like connected like her other ones are, because her other books are like not connected. So, oh my god. Is this fantasy? Is this fully fantasy? This book was published in 1986, so I think that it's pretty early on before she kind of hit her groove with the different pen names. I honestly have no fucking clue. There's a girl named Kalina who's like the last survivor of a proud heritage. She disguises herself to undertake a mission to destroy her family's enemy, but she has to team up with a guy they call the Fire Whip. And then they like, they have a fierce union. This looks real questionable, so I'm gonna move on to one that I know for sure of the three books by this author that I've read, that I've picked up. I've definitely read this one before. So this is called The Perfect Poison, and this is one of the original Arcane Society novels. And basically, I like this one because they have really interesting powers in this one. So this is about Lucinda Bromley, who has a rare talent to. She kind of has a connection with plants, so she can kind of read and understand botanical properties, specifically with poison. And then the guy in this is Caleb Jones. So there's a certain kind of talent in this world that's like a really high level talent, and that kind of runs through the Jones family, which is like the founding family of the Arcane Society. And it's this like chaos reader. So basically it's like uber conspiracy theorist, but like they're right sometimes, but it really skirts the line of like true paranoia and kind of like losing your marbles. So oftentimes the characters who have that specific talent, which I think there's only like 3 books about people with that talent, they kind of like skirt that like dark edge of not knowing what their brain is telling them is true, but also like really hitting the nail on the head with like understanding patterns and nothingness. So I really enjoy this one, and I have the Third Circle, which is like the second Arcane Society book. Jamie! I missed you too! So that's all of those books. I got 4 books for Hanukkah from my mom. 2 of them I asked for, and then 2 of them were a nice surprise. So the 2 that I requested were Pet by Akwaeke Emezi. I read this book last year and loved it. It's this really short kind of YA story about a girl named Jam, and she lives in the city of Lucille where there are no monsters anymore. And by monsters, it means like evil. So there's no like poverty, there's no hunger, there's no abuse, there's no things like that. So one day she sneaks down into her mother's like painting studio, and a monster named Pet crawls out of one of the paintings and tells Jam that there is a monster in Lucille and it is in her best friend's house. So they kind of like start investigating that, and it's really a talk about the insidious nature of abuse and like trusting and believing children. There is a trigger warning for this book for discussions of child abuse. Nothing like on the page, but it is like a theme. So this was just incredible, and I also just don't understand how she got the UK cover, but I'm not complaining. And then I have Martha Wells' All Systems Red. So this is the first novella, also very short, in the Murderbot Diaries, and this is about a security bot who kind of develops a personality with their AI, and I've just heard only good things, basically. Like, only good things about this, specifically from Mara at Books Like Whoa, and Daniel Green really likes this book. A lot of people that I watch really enjoy this book, and I can't wait to read it. It seems quick. So, and I'm trying to get into sci-fi. I started reading a sci-fi book yesterday, and I got like not even 10 pages in, and I was like, meh. So I want to read one that I've heard good things about. And then the other 2 that were surprises were a nonfiction book, White Tears, Brown Scars, How White Feminism Betrays Women of Color by Ruby Hamad. I'm very interested in this. First of all, it's a beautiful cover, but as a white woman who is trying to be an ally, advocate, and accomplice to people of color who are trying to break down white supremacist systems in America, I think it's really important to be reflective at the ways that I may unconsciously be using forms of white feminism instead of intersectional feminism. Yeah. Okay, I'm going on a run. Okay. Love you. What was I saying? Yeah, as a white woman, I think it's really important for me to be reading women of color's analysis of the ways white feminism has betrayed women of color. So super, literally that's what it says here. Super excited for this, and I can't wait to read it. And then lastly, I have The Queen's Gambit by Walter Tevis. I didn't know this was a book. I thought it was just a show. Also, what the fuck is up with this cover? Like, they didn't even do, like, a circle. It's just a straight-up movie poster right on it, like, right there. Don't know about that. But I've heard good things. My mom got this for me because she watched this show and she really enjoyed it and really recommended it to me. She thinks that I would like it. So, I can't wait to read this one, too. I'm probably going to save this for later in the year because one of the Buzzwordathon prompts is like a title, so like queen would work for that. So yeah. And then the rest of the stuff that I got. So first is Eleanor, Oliphant is Completely Fine by Gail Honeyman. I really don't know what this is about. I think it's about a girl who's pretty on her own and then discovers like a family. I don't really know. All I know is that I have a feeling this is going to make me cry, and I've heard good things about it, so that's going with that. And then Night of the Mannequins by Stephen Graham Jones. Kayla at Books and Lala read this and enjoyed it, and I read The Only Good Indians last year and loved it. So this is, again, a novella, so it's really short, but I really want to read, like, all of Stephen Graham Jones's backlist because the, like, narrative structure of the storytelling in The Only Good Indians was just, like, so superb, in my opinion, that I'm just really excited about this. This is also, like, more slasher horror, and I love, like, slasher movies, so this will be really fun, although I don't know if it'll be, like, as scary as The Only Good Indians, because that, like, that shit fucked me up. So, yeah, and then I have Hollowpox, The Hunt for Morgan Crow. So this is the third book in the Nevermore series. Can you see there's this awful sticker that was on it? I tried to peel it off. I need to get, like, nail polish remover and, like, try to get that off. But this is the third book. Isn't it beautiful? So this is a middle grade fantasy series. How fucking long this is. Middle grade fantasy series about a girl named Morgan Crow who in the first book is kind of swept up out of her life by a man named Jupiter North and taken to a city called Nevermore and entered in these competitions to join the Wondrous Society, which is like a magical school for extremely talented children. And kind of like the Mysterious Benedict Society, but like magical. And it's just so fun and whimsical and imaginative and joyful. I think this is going to start getting into like the nitty gritty of like the overall plot. So I'm really excited about that, and I just can't wait. And I got it for like half price at the secondhand bookstore. So that's cool. The next two books I found on also at the secondhand bookstore, but they were on the $1 cart, so I was like, I'll just take those. And that first one is What We Lose by Zinzi Clemmons. Isn't this gorgeous? Like, look at that, and look at the spine. I love the colors here. So this is just a contemporary literary fiction about a girl named Thandi, and she lives in Pennsylvania. That's another thing, because the author's from Philly, and I was like, yes, go Philly. So this book is about a girl who is struggling with her identity, being mixed, and also the daughter of an immigrant, and just kind of that sort of story. I don't really know what else this is really about. It's pretty short, and there's also like lists and charts. It looks like it's written pretty interestingly with fairly short chapters. So yeah, I'm excited for this one. I think it looks really beautiful. And then I also have the Erotomaniac, The Secret Life of Henry Spencer Ashby. So this just like had a cool side and a cool cover, so I picked it up. And this is a biography of Henry Spencer Ashby, who was a respectable Victorian gentleman, family man, with a secret second life where he has this whole secret apartment where he just had a huge collection of erotica and pornography, like thousands of books of erotica and pornography. So it just sounds fun. It sounds cool. It sounds interesting. It doesn't seem like it'll be that long. And, oh, it's kind of a small font. But, I don't know. it just sounds cool. So I picked it up. I'd never heard of it, but I picked it up. And then the last two books that I have here are Magpie Murders by Anthony Horowitz and Once Upon a River by Diane Setterfield. So Once Upon a River by Diane Setterfield, I first heard of when Reagan at Peruse Project was talking about it, and I was like, I need to read that. So this is a, I think, historical fiction book that kind of has almost a fairy tale-esque slant to it. So it's about like one stormy night in an inn, the doors burst open and a man walks in holding the body of a young girl who seems to be dead. But she wakes up hours later and it's like, is it a miracle? Is it magic? And it kind of tracks like the story of how they got to that point, I believe. And isn't that just the most beautiful cover? I'm obsessed with it. And then Magpie Murders, I picked this up because I actually was looking at the NPR. Every year NPR puts out this really cool almost database of like their favorite books of the year. It's like 300 books sorted by different like topics and different like stuff like that. It was really cool. And the sequel to this was on that list this year. And I read that and I was like, that sounds so cool. But then I looked it up and it was like book 2 in the Susan Ryland series. And I was like, okay. So I got the first one, but I actually remember hearing about it when it first came out and it sounded cool. So it's about a woman named Susan Ryland who is an editor for like books, and one of her best-selling crime writers, Alan Conway, sends her his manuscript, and I believe it's like some sort of crossing twisted path between whatever crime is happening in the book versus a crime happening in real life, because the author is missing, maybe? I don't know. So, yeah, I've just heard good things. I've also heard good things about Anthony Horowitz as an author. So, yeah, and that is all the books that I bought. No, I have ebooks to talk about. I have 2 ebooks. So, for Hanukkah, I got a $50 Amazon Kindle gift card. And while I'm, like, trying not to support Amazon, I have this gift card and I want to use it. But I have 2 books that I recently got from Amazon. One of them was free, and that is the Midwinter Mail Order Bride by Kati Wilde. And this is a book that came highly recommended from Mara Books Like Whoa. I talk about her all the time. She's like my fave. And I think this is just a fantasy barbarian romance. So sounds fun. And then the second one is called Wolf at the Door, and this in the Big Bad Wolf series by Charlie Adhara. And this is, it was pitched to me in a tweet as a like gay werewolf FBI romance series. Like, I mean, and there's 5 of them. My friend sent me the tweet and was like, this sounds like something you'd be interested in. And I was like, you know me so well. I feel so deeply seen and understood. So I bought the first one and I'm so excited. I'm unexplainably excited. I've really been into using my Kindle lately. Like, I was getting into it at the end of the year, but lately I'm like, it's so much easier than holding a book. And I'm like, maybe I just want to read more ebooks all the time, because I never listen to audiobooks anymore. Audiobooks changed my life last year, and here I am. I never listen to them now because I don't go anywhere. I don't do anything. So lots of fun things happening, and those are all the books that I got recently. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Hopefully I can edit it down to be a little bit shorter, and I will see you guys next time. Bye!